Hello, Les here, coming to you today from the Medicine Rocks State Park in Montana. The beautiful Medicine Rocks State Park in Montana. This is a place that I drove by 2 years ago when I was briefly in Montana, and I said to myself, you need to stay there sometime, or go there at least. I didn't know that it was a campground, because you could see it's a highway. Montana Highway 7 is right next door, and it's a desolate little highway. But I was on my way from Devil's Tower, heading into Teddy Roosevelt, I believe, or something like that. And this is in the southeast corner of Montana. Montana is very diverse in its geography and climate zones. And this is obviously very different from somewhere like Glacier, which is kind of alpine. This is a prairie. But in the midst of this prairie are these really cool rocks. These rocks that rock. They are sandstone rocks that have been wind eroded and water eroded for millions of years probably. And they have stayed above the prairie. You can see the prairie stretching off in that direction beautifully. Sun is setting. I think clouds are going to make it not ideal, but this is just a small sampling. There are hundreds of these rocks and several trails around here. I've been here 2 weeks almost. Tomorrow I'll make 2 weeks, and I'm leaving tomorrow. I was only going to stay here a week, but I got here and found myself a nice little camping spot. The new moon was last week, and I've not been able to do a whole lot of astrophotography on this trip, and things were looking good weather-wise for that purpose, and my campsite wasn't necessarily ideal for that, because it's down a hill over there, but it's really nice because I had that whole section. I mean, there's only 8 camp spots in this whole park. It's not a very big park, but still, they're pretty dispersed. They're certainly not crammed in tightly, but over a road that goes maybe 2 miles, there's 8 camp spots, so it's not much. There's not much here. There's a camp host, there's vault toilets, and there's a hand pump for water. That's it. You can't even, there's not even any trash cans. You have to pack it in, pack it out. It's primitive camping. But the vault toilets are nice and clean. They're kept pretty clean, and they're nicely, and because there's not that many people here, as I've been here during the weekends, people come rolling in. There's quite a few people rolled through. This is Friday. Quite a few people rolled in today, but during the week, I've dang near had the whole place to myself. I mean, there may be 1 or 2 other people here, but mostly I've had it to myself. And there's 3 really good hiking trails here. What was this one here over that hill, and it goes all the way out to the there's some more cool rocks way off in the distance there, and then it kind of goes out through the woods, goes out close to the entrance of the place, and then there's on the west end, all the way at the end, there's a Sunset Loop Trail, and it's beautiful. Lots of rocks out there. I got some Milky Way photos out in that area last week. on a really nice clear night, and with some of the rocks in the foreground. It's pretty cool. This is a pretty dark sky. It's a Bortle 2, a dark Bortle 2 even. And this is, I mean, there's not much around here. There is like a farm, a couple of, I mean, there's some cows right over there. You can't see them, but so there's some farmland here, and there's some lights associated with the farmlands adjacent to the park. But there's a town called Baker north 25 miles, and a town called Ekalaka south 10 miles. Neither of those towns are very big, but Baker's reasonably big. There's a grocery store, a couple gas stations, a Runnings hardware store. But, I mean, I'm sure maybe 1,500 people population, and then Ekalaka is even smaller, probably just a few hundred. Yeah, since this is a primitive site, there's no place to refill your tanks and no place to dump your tanks. So I had to be very conservative with my water usage, limiting on my showers to 2 a week. Filling my big jug with water from the hand pump, so I use that to wash hands and rinse off my coffee filter and that kind of stuff. So as not to use up all my water. And as it is, this morning, I'm leaving tomorrow. This morning, my fresh tank said empty. Now, granted, I'm sure there's still several gallons in it when it shows empty. But I am technically out of water. I do have something that I could use I bought a jug that I could use to refill my 7 gallons at a time, in theory, but for that purpose of using that, but I haven't bothered to use it. I've just been conservative. I have 2 big water jugs. One's more of a faucet type thing that would be really hard to get the water into the water fill, but the other one is more like a gasoline jug, but for water, and so it has a nozzle, so I'd be able to use that to refill up my tank 7 gallons at a time. But I don't think I'm going to bother unless I happen to run out before I not have enough water to make my coffee in the morning, because that's about all I have left to do. And anyways, yeah, I'm headed down tomorrow back into Wyoming, so this is my last night in Montana. Sad, because I really like Montana. But I have spent nearly 2 months of this summer in Montana, so that's pretty good. I did say that I wanted to spend a good bit of my summer in Montana, a summer of 25 in Montana, and I did accomplish that. I spent a good bit of my summer here. And it is going to start getting chilly, although it was literally 102 degrees one day last week and 95 plus, so for 3 days it was oppressively hot here, which, I mean, hotter than I had seen record temperatures in the 105, 107 range. I thought, yeah, how often does that happen? Well, I found out it happened 3 of the days. There was only one day that it was technically over 100, but one day of the 2 weeks that I was in this place, it was literally ambient temperature over 100 degrees. Now, it was dry because this is semi-arid, but it was hot. And because I don't have a power plug, I was running off of my my off-grid setup, which I have supplemented. I picked up a new power station from Harbor Freight, in the hopes, and 400 watts of solar, in the hopes of being able to run the trailer off of that, and because it has a fast charging capability. But it turns out that even though it's not technically, it's weird. I don't get into the details, but whenever the air conditioner would, if I had it plugged in to charge the power station from the generator, which was the hope, because I wasn't able to charge I have a big battery. I've had it for a while, and an inverter, and that'll run the whole house. And air conditioner and all. But it sucks down that battery so fast that I need a way to fast charge it back. And even a 20 amp charger, I found out when I was in Glacier without a power plug, was by no means enough. I mean, I didn't even really run the air conditioner, and it still wasn't enough. I'm just talking about running my computer for my work day, and Starlink, and microwave, a couple times a day. And I could not get, the generator rules are really tight there in Glacier. So the generator rules here are basically wide open. You can run the generator all the time if you want to. I don't want to, but I could. I don't want to disturb the peace like that. Not for me, and not for my even rare fellow campers. But so I was trying to supplement my off-grid setup, and so I bought this power station, but it's not the best. I mean, I bought it because one thing, it was an open box buy, and it was a Harbor Freight, and there's Harbor Freights, and it has a 5-year warranty. There's Harbor Freights in everywhere. I mean, they're almost more common than Walmart's nowadays. But so versus buying something, there are much better options and better value options. Oddly enough, it can be purchased online, but that's very hard to do when you're living on the road. And then getting warranty support is nigh impossible with those items. So I went ahead and bought it, and unfortunately it does not work like I wanted, because there's some weird quirk of, if you're charging from the generator and you have the house plugged into the power box, it would run the air conditioner fine, but it had the same problem as the other one. It would discharge super fast, but you can't fast charge. It was really weird. It would actually overdraw on the generator, and the generator would conk out. So it's almost the worst case scenario. It's not like knocking off the power station, it's knocking off the generator. So that didn't work out. But it did work out in a sense that I was able to plug this Starlink into that, and I've ran the Starlink off of that for the whole 2 weeks, and then I have the 400 watts of solar running into that, and that has kept that running the whole 2 weeks. I actually only ever plugged it into charge of the generator just briefly yesterday, because it had been cloudy all day, so it didn't get all the solar. But other than on sunny days, that'll run that forever. Granted, the 400 watts of solar was more than I thought it would take to do that, but with the 400 watts of solar, Starlink is covered. As long as you have reasonable sun. I mean, even today it was cloudy a good bit, and I still was able to do it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Not what I expected, but I'll probably, before my next journey, I will probably buy a better power box. And the problem is something to do with the charging rate. And it was like compounding upon so it was basically, it's trying to pull 7,000 watts, and the generator could only handle 5,000 watts, and so it was conking it out. So some of these other ones are configurable, and you can set them up on your phone, and you can change the charging rate, adjust it, and that is apparently a solution to this problem. But you can't do that with the Harbor Freight Predator one. So it's not a useless thing. I'll probably use it to run my telescope. Once I get the better power station, I'll probably then use this thing to run my telescope setup, and other purposes. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a waste of money, but it was not the greatest. I wouldn't give the Harbor Freight 2000. I can't give it 2 thumbs up, because it did not do what I thought it should have done. But whatever, it's not useless. It is overpriced, but it is nice. 5-year warranty, Harbor Freight. Anyways, this wasn't intended to be a review of that, but yeah, these are unscripted, obviously. And yeah, so is there anything else I wanted to say about this place? It's beautiful. Do come here, but you have to be prepared for the primitive camping. The week that it was 100 plus degrees, that week I burned through all my propane and gas, 5 gallons of propane and 5 gallons of gas, 15 gallons of propane and 5 gallons of gas. So last Saturday I had to drive into Walker, pull the trailer into Walker because I also had to empty my tanks. But luckily they do have, 50-mile round trip, but there is a city public free dump station and water fill. The water is very hard, but it is it's free, and it works. It's I've been drinking it all week and I haven't died, so I filter everything, but it's still just the tap water from Baker, Montana. Yeah, so it's great. It's been very peaceful, super peaceful place. I don't know, the place I was at before in North Dakota was pretty darn peaceful, but in some ways this is even better. The only thing that's a little bit odd is the lack of ground critters. If not any squirrels. I don't really understand why there are no squirrels. It seems like there should be ground squirrels, tree squirrels. There's plenty of trees here, so it's not like it's lack of trees. There's just nothing. There's no ground. I saw a couple of deer yesterday. That was the only time I've even seen any deer. Some cows, but those are, they're not wild animals. Those are pasture critters. And a lot of short birds. Quite a lot of birds. A lot of doves. The mourning dove I've determined is my very favorite bird song. It's just such a relaxing and peaceful sound, and I've heard that all the 2 weeks that I've been here, especially in the mornings. Really like that. There's lots of birds, but that's about it. I've seen almost nothing else other than those deers. Really, really weird, the lack of squirrels or prairie dogs. Yeah, but not a lot of bugs either. I don't know if there's something to do with each other, but yeah, not a lot of bugs. And I got some astrophotography in, so pretty good week. The camp spot I had down there is number 5 technically. I'm basically putting this in for my own purposes. I take notes and stuff too, but it was really nice because it was surrounded by these cool rocks, and you couldn't see the whole horizon, the big sky in Montana, but I don't really take images of stuff that's low on the horizon anyways, so I ultimately decided that that's fine. And it was nice to have the pseudo privacy, because most of the time I was down there by myself, and it was pretty sweet. Anyways, I will give Medicine Rocks 2 thumbs up. This place is awesome. Could be better perhaps, but a water outlet and a dump station, and this place I could give it 3 thumbs up, but I'll give it 2 thumbs up for now, and I'll next time I'm here, hopefully I'll have a better. Granted, there's nothing I can do about the water and dump station, but there is something in Baker. It's free, other than the gas money of pulling the thing up there and back. So, anyways, I've rambled on definitely long enough this time, but I'll give you one. Sunset is not as spectacular as I'd hoped. There's too much clouds. Same thing happened yesterday. Anyways, as usual. This is the turning point, truly the turning point. Probably last time in North Dakota was the turning point, but I am headed 750 miles south this weekend. It's Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend, and Monday I should be in Kansas, and then I'm going back to Texas for a few weeks before I go back home. But I am definitely headed south now, and I was going to say that it was 100-some degrees last week, and then the cold front came through on last Friday, and it's been beautiful ever since. Tripped over 80 slightly, but most days it's been in the 70s and get down to the 50s at night, and beautiful, beautiful camping weather. Haven't even had to run the air conditioner, pretty much at all. So really weird. They definitely do have some broad swings in the weather around here, but it's about to swing to the cold side, and Les Davis does not like to be in the cold, so I will be heading south to warmer climes in the weeks ahead, and should be home a little bit over a month. Anyways, as usual, stay tuned.